Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal Big Footy rules still apply.
Alright, so this is the Flogcast for prelim final week. Fyfie joined by Tyler Durden
Hi guys.
and Paddles.
Aye.
Now, before we begin, obviously been hoping to get someone, a rep from each club. We asked around, we didn't know any Swan supporters because, we didn't know they existed. A few Freo supporters we weren't able to get, but the Hawks, we've asked a lot of Hawthorn people, considering the game this week, and couldn't get any.
Weak shits. All and sundry. I've got to say that Paddles, you've got to step up this week because we're a skeleton crew and you need to give us more than you have out of your cardboard box than you have. Are you prepared for that, Paddles?
Yeah, sure.
You got to show I'm a dodgy umpire what you're made of.
So, Fyfie, where do we start?
Well, I think we got to start with the Hawthorn supporters in hiding because it is prelim final week and they're nowhere to be seen.
They're too busy to preparing excuses if they don't win the premierships this year.
Well, they're shoo-ins. You look at what ridiculous lengths Oscar's gone to on the Bay this week. He's crying like a baby about how sureties Hawthorn are and how much he just wants to dig the needle into Geelong. He's just gone beyond the measure.
They're all in hiding. Look, the Kennett curse, really, it's a joke, it's nice and it's funny. It isn't real. But I think if Hawthorn lose this one, it starts to become real. And if they lose this game, the pitchforks and the flaming torches will descend on Jeff's house. Because, now it becomes real if they lose this. This one's the one they got to win.
Well, we don't actually expect to win. Geelong are they're stumbling forward. They're crippled. They have a lot of injuries and they just don't look like they can carry it on. And Hawthorn are in prime condition. So if they lose this, the melts will be just delicious. Forget it. There's no internet. After Friday night, internet is gone. It's just going to melt down and you'll need to get to carrier pigeons to get your messages across after Friday if they lose.
The meltdowns are going to be good either way.
It's going to be huge because they're either going to be on their load all over the place or they will be melting. All I can say is that after prelim final week, the Dockers fans will be chartering flights to Melbourne to see the grand final, and if Hawthorn lose, their fans will be chartering flights to Europe to get those out of the country as quick as possible in as large a number as possible.
Oh, how's Europe at the moment anyway?
Oh, yeah, it's nice. I might stay here a bit longer till after trade week.
Well, whilst we're talking about it, we have a companion that has been missing seriously from the Bay and from the Flogcast for a few weeks now, and we're very, very worried about him, and that is the Cat Wrangler. So what do you think's happened to the Cat Wrangler?
Maybe he's too busy coming up with excuses just in case Hawthorn lose, just like all the other Hawthorn supporters.
Well, my theory is that if the Wrangler got caught at work, spending too much time on Big Footy, his boss would have clipped him around the ears and he would have stripped back his usage, but then he would have been back on after hours. However, he's not been on after hours. So my theory is that Mrs. Wrangler has got Mr. Wrangler by the short and curlies and has stopped him from going on Big Footy. It's like you spend too much time with your nerdy friends on the internet talking about footy and not enough time giving Mrs. Wrangler a bit of love and time, and he's been pulled back. What do you think about that?
I think he's a Hawthorn supporter, so there's a 47% chance he doesn't have a missus.
Oh, well, it might be Mr. Wrangler. Mr. Wrangler taking Mr. Wrangler down.
Cat Wrangler isn't Bosk though.
Well, let's not be too presumptuous about that, but I think he's is pulled down and he's not being able to get on big footy because his better half, be it male or female, is not letting him get on.
Yeah, he's certainly in hiding. He's leading all the other Hawthorn supporters in hiding somewhere, probably in a dark cave, preemptive dark cave. If they lose to Geelong or the grand final, Clarko will join them.
So let's talk about last week's games. And I was right and you guys were wrong. You were all telling me that Geelong were going to just smash put Adelaide easily. And I said that it would be a couple of kicks and I was right.
I thought you said you'd lose.
Well, I thought we might lose and
Okay.
that might have happened. I said that we might just win it. And that's exactly what happened. But you've got to say, congratulations to Port. They played a brilliant game and they played without fear. They played without worrying about what the opposition was doing. But Geelong, in their usual form, how many shots could we miss at goal? Seriously, we just sprayed it and sprayed it and sprayed it. We could have won that game by 60, 70 points, but they just sprayed it. And they gave Port the opportunity to get back in and nearly win it. And that goal by the Hoff, the Super Hoff in the pocket, that was amazing. He played a fantastic game. And what sort of side are they going to be next year and the year after? They are coming hard, Port Adelaide. They are a great side coming.
I thought the kicking was going to cost Geelong for a while there. I thought, oh, geez, it's just close. It's just close enough. I know their quality and all that, and they probably would, but just the way they were kicking, I was like, Geelong might kick themselves out of it and Port will just do enough. Because I think that kind of happened with Collingwood as well, where Collingwood had a few misses in, I think, the second or third quarter when they were trying to get back in the game and they never closed the gap early enough.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what happened.
And Collingwood spent their petrol tickets getting back in front and Port killed them on the way home, but Geelong managed to just be that much better and get over them.
Since the AFL final system, the current one started, in week 2, the team that's coming off the loss has only been out in straight sets twice. I believe that sudden death just takes more out.
Yeah, sudden death does take a lot out, but the top 4 games are good, solid hit-outs when they're going hard but not too hard because they know they got the second chance guaranteed. And that's why this is the most important Geelong Hawthorn game, back to that, in recent memory, because this is the first one since the 2008 grand final with genuine losers gone stakes, because everything else has been home and away or qualifying final.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, we knocked them over in 2011 qualifying final. So we're going to put that in our pocket to say that, fuck you, Hawthorn. We've actually beaten you in a final, whilst they prance about and go, you can't beat us, you can't beat us. You know, fuck off, you sillies. We have beaten them in a final, but at this point in time, they are just prime and ready, and we just have too many injuries and we have too many players out of form.
Maybe I'm preparing your excuses, eh?
Oh, well, yeah, of course. What do you think?
Hawthorn supporters to do that.
Yeah, well, what do you think? I'm gonna front up and say that we're gonna smash them, and then we get beaten by 10 goals. No, that's the realm of Peter Cat. So no, I live in the realms of believability, and yeah, unfortunately, they're gonna smash us, and everyone knows that. So
I don't know, I don't know what it is, but they seem to have this mental hurdle against Geelong. I think they'll win, but I'm not confident. I am dead set confident about the Dockers, but not remotely about Hawthorn, even though I would tip them.
Oh, wow. I'll tell you what, if it comes off, like I said last week, there will be exploding heads all over the bay and there will be meltdowns. If it does happen, I hope there are a lot of Hawthorn supporters who have access to the bay and have enough grog in their system and have access to porn and they can just melt and just nuke themselves. Because I will be sitting there with the band's hammer, ready to just smash heads. So what about Carlton and Sydney? That was just a fluff of a game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was pretty dull. Sydney got injuries and that kept it close. But once they got out, I think it was Bolton kicked that goal on quarter time. You thought, all right, they've just got enough of a lead. They should run away with it from here.
Well, they did. They smashed them. And the only thing that closed the margin was the fact that Carlton got late goals when Sydney just switched off. So it was pretty much a nothing game, which is disappointing.
Yeah. What about the ANZ Stadium turf?
Well, apparently it was like KB's hair. It's sort of like it was really scant and really barren on one side, but it was really long and able to be combed over on the
It's
other.
because they had a NRL final the night before, and they had to move the grandstands in and out because it goes from rectangular to oval.
Well, they didn't have to move the grandstands out. They just chose to. So they shouldn't be playing football there.
Didn't make much difference to the result because Carlton got smashed.
It just looks shit.
Well, I mean, I was completely wrong. Last week I thought that I was saying that Carlton could win, but they got smashed. And suck shit, Carlton, you're shit.
It works for Malthouse, though, because now he gets to do his clean out. If they made a prelim, he'd probably struggle to get rid of all the list cloggers he wants to. It was really bizarre, though, the fact that in the third quarter Carlton didn't score and the fourth quarter Sydney didn't score. That was a bit strange.
It was sort of like a nothing final, but well, it's over, and the Colas have got to go over and play the Purple Poofs. And one of the Purple Poofs started a thread on Bay 13 saying, "Oh, where's the thread about playing the Purple Poofs?" So, maybe they've got a little bit of suspicion, fear about them, the Purple Poofs, that if someone doesn't start a thread about them, then they can't win.
Yeah, there's no motivation. Ross Lyon can't direct his players to Bay 13 to see what the opposition are saying about him.
All right, that game was garbage. So let's turn our attention to the saddest news of the week. And poor old Fyfie, your team has fucked you over twice in 2 weeks. So you've lost to 9th, and now Dustin Martin is off. I can only think about how you must feel about that.
Look, this is bizarre because the thing is, maybe this was my own fault, but I'd always been thinking over the last 2 or 3 years, despite our shitness, the last required player we wanted out of Richmond was Brad Ottens. It had been a long time, and I was thinking they've got it kind of right. And then this year I was starting to think, because it seemed as though Martin and Conker, one would get squeezed, and I wasn't sure which one I wanted to keep because they're different types of players. But look, if he wants to take the money elsewhere, I'm philosophical about it. We can secure Conker, get something good for him, and, well, if he gets himself into trouble off field, well, hasn't he made his bed?
Yeah, but he's not actually out the door. He's only just fielding offers from other clubs. So
Richmond have withdrawn the offer, so that's the thing.
Yeah. He doesn't get anything better. He may turn around and go, "Oh, well, I've listened to other clubs and there's nothing out there and I want to stay at Richmond." So they may give him a lesser offer, which they should if he's going to stay, but that may actually happen.
I'm thinking that's the way it's going to go, but the withdrawn offer might be used. They might take 100k off that, give it to Conker, keep him, and then if Dusty wants to come back, he's going to have to play for 400 or he's going to have to find another club. And if it's not GWS, there's a bargaining position there of some description. And I think Richmond should Nick Stevens him. If a club who have a not so high draft pick in the preseason don't want to come to the table with their first rounder, Nick Stevens him, chuck him into the draft. He won't get past GWS. He doesn't get where he wants to go, but you wash your hands of him.
I saw a thread on the Richmond board. Someone said, "Why does it feel like 1995 again?" And I read that, and I was there in 1995 at Veerfell Park.
So was I.
Fucking Arctic Park. What a shit ground that was.
I was about 7. It was raining, and I just remember being cold, and I don't remember us kicking a goal. We kicked 5, but I don't remember one.
We absolutely smashed you that day. And poor old Wayne Campbell got reported. He got too angry and he smacked someone. And I was there with one of my best mates who was a Richmond supporter, and he didn't say a word all day. And it's not 1995 today for the Tigers. It's not. They're going places, and if Dustbin doesn't want to stick around, then fuck him off. Get what you can for him, and Tigers will be better for it.
That's the thing. From all accounts, he's caused, Campbell has to play minder to him. So Choco Williams is paying his phone bills for him and all this other shit that you hear, that he's just really fucking dumb. If he goes somewhere else, that might, Richmond, for all the shitness and all the laughs and all that, the culture's, I'd say it's probably somewhere around the middle to top half. There are worse places to be looked after if you leave the club. And he goes to Melbourne. They've only just got Paul Roos and some other good people in. GWS are unknown, so it's kind of, are they going to pay his phone bills there? Are they going to, in Sydney, keep an eye on him? Who knows?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, so Dustin Martin, Richmond, obviously, poles apart, and no one's quite sure exactly why that is, apart from, money, so probably some contractual demands in there. So we've got the top 5 things that Dustin Martin wanted in his contract that Richmond denied him. Number 5.
More money for neck tats.
Number 4.
Sleeping pills.
Number 3 is jailhouse salutes. number 2, Dan Connors, and number 1...
A ban on Richmond supporters putting him on their iPhone wallpaper.
Yeah, Richmond balked at that one because they found out it would be just too hard to change. Ablett won his MVP, and I know Tyler's a bit frustrated still about Ablett leaving. You're not the greatest rap for him, but...
Selfish, silly.
Yeah, at least he got the flags. He got 2 of them before he got out. That's why I don't see too much of an issue with Thomas leaving, because he looks spent, and if Carlton want to pay him a lot of money to go, if you're Thomas, you'd take it.
Well, of course you would.
But
yeah.
And that's the same thing with Ablett. Ablett did what he could at Geelong, and it's not like he bent him over a barrel. You know, he'd kind of done his thing, and the fact is Geelong had a kind of principle where, what was it, no one got over 600 or 500, and then Ablett would have broken that rule, and that would have changed the culture. So he was gone, and you've won a flag, you might win another, who knows, but...
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that he's pretty selfish. It's sort of like a family trait that they're very selfish. Because I always think back to Chris Grant and how he didn't leave the Bulldogs for Port Adelaide off the back of...
50 cents.
50 cents, yeah. Some kid just...
I was pretty sure it was 20 cents.
20, not 50. But he stayed off the back of a kid wanting to just be loyal to his club, and he did.
Yeah.
And how many hundreds of kids wore the number 29 on their back for Gary Ablett, and he really didn't give a shit about any of them. And he left for selfish reasons. Most people would have done it, but he just went, we don't really care about it anymore.
Yeah, you won the flag, you've kind of moved on.
Exactly. We got another flag without him, and it's fine. So good luck to him. I mean, he's still a brilliant player. He's amazing to watch. But I don't really think he's going to... I don't think he's going to win a premiership up there.
But yeah, as I was probably trying to segue to with Gary Ablett, is that, yeah, he won his 5th MVP, but on the same night, Joel Selwood won the most courageous player in the competition. Look, we won't even get into the Hawthorn supporters and others who don't like that. But second was Grimace Hanbury. Now, how many faces did he pull to get that?
Well, as Paul Roos would say, you can't question his courage.
Right after he squibbed it.
I think that Hanbury's kind of like that assassin in Game of Thrones that could just change his face with just turning around. His grimace is kind of like a new face for him, but I'm sure that he can do all sorts of things with his face. He could probably look not even like himself if he tries hard.
That's basically what it is, though. It's like he looks like he's in significant pain, and then he gets up like straight afterwards, and then next contest you see him running.
Is he kind of like Peter Griffin when he knocks his knee and goes, ah, ah, ah.
Yes, he absolutely is.
Okay.
We'll move on to another thing that caught my eye this week, is that Greg Swan calling Essendon cheats. They've been hinting at it this is my theory on it, every club is going to have their say on this. They've had a few so far, just upping the ante as to slamming Essendon, and Swan's come out and said cheats. It's an orchestrated effort, in my opinion, from the other 17.
Well, it's pretty brave.
Very brave.
Yeah, to come out and actually speak the truth and call them cheats, and then Essendon shit the bed and say, oh, no, we're going to take it to the Supreme Court. What a pack of fucking wankers.
Indeed. It's just like they were found guilty of breaking Rule 1.6. I'm pretty sure you break a rule, by definition, that is cheating.
Yes, correct.
They pleaded guilty to that.
They can't admit it. They just sit back, and say, no, Supreme Court, you can't call us that. What a pack of fucking whingers.
Yeah, he didn't say drug cheats, he just said cheats. And they're by definition cheats. So it's a massive soot campaign coming out of Essendon. Look, it'll be hilarious if there's an exodus of players, provided someone actually wants to pay them if they all walk under free agency. Which brings us to the next point. The Bryans are facing an exodus. So much so that they put the magic jumper back on the table.
Yes, they did. They said they were going to have a poll in the jumper, and they're sending out emails this week, and I haven't got mine yet, so I'm not happy. I want my email. I want to vote the jumper back in.
What will you do if the jumper survives?
Oh, come on. Our members aren't stupid.
What if all the 5-year-old kids or the 10-year-old kids who've grown up with a Paddlepop jumper who think it's kind of cool help vote it back in, all the bandwagoners and such?
The only way the Paddlepop jumper will win is if the club rigs the poll.
You two clubs, you're a fucking basket case, both of you. I mean, get out of that cardboard box, Paddlepop, and get in there and just unseat them, make yourself the president, and make sure that you get the jumper that you want.
President Paddles, I like it.
I like it. I think he would do a great job. And you're angry enough. I can tell it in your voice. You just need to get out of that cardboard box.
And yeah, but the player exodus, look, honestly, Billy Longer was just an overhanging from the crazy Vossi era. He had a perfectly capable, recently drafted high ruckman that couldn't play forward. Then he said, hey, let's draft another one 2 years later. Like, I don't know. I find that baffling. And then Polek wants to leave too. So I'm not surprised Longer wants to leave. He's not going to get a look in. One more thing. Has anyone seen the St Kilda video?
Yeah, the one that was the music festival thing, and they had the singing coach.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, how fucking ridiculous was that?
That club just...
They just neck themselves every time.
They're a running joke.
Let's just dwell for a minute. Have you guys looked at the All-Australian team?
Yeah, I can't see much to complain about. I bet the Hawthorn supporters, actually, I know for a fact some of the Hawthorn supporters are melting over Mackie getting included.
Oh, they hate
I reckon
Mac.
Solo Mackie will be melting, but melting for a different reason.
He'll be melting Mardo style over Chad Wingard, who's also in the team.
He'll be melting like Bosk does over every single guy. He'll be
I
melting.
don't get the hate for Mackie. He's a fucking great player. I mean, we don't hang shit on Dunstan and whatever else of the 48% boofters play for Hawthorn. But they just got this hook in their craw. They just hate Mackie. What's wrong with them?
They probably are the ones sooking the most about the team. No, Hodge, Ruffy has been relegated to the forward pocket in favour of Jeremy Cameron as the full forward. Coleman medalist Ruffy sitting in the pocket. They wouldn't be happy about that.
Yeah, well, rightly so. I think that he should be full forward. I mean, Cameron just plays for this franchise. Sure, he's been good, but Ruffy's been better.
I reckon Ruffy should have been sent half forward, Cameron full forward, and probably Cloak in the pocket, but that's just me. I think because Ruffy plays a bit higher. Not much else to make note of. Will Minson making the All-Australian team. Who would have thought that 2 years ago? He would have been in the Spud team.
No, he's had a brilliant season.
One thing that did bother me was Jab Watson getting a token spot on the bench because all the media flogs felt sorry for him. Just thought that was really poor. And speaking of Jab,
we're looking forward to the Brownlow this week. There's quite a few who win as long as it's not Jab, because there's a possibility and that would just be poor. But I think, yeah, we're looking forward to it, and there's a few things I'm looking forward to. I think we're all looking forward to. We've predicted a few things that'll happen. I think they're quite likely. If they happen, it will be just lol-worthy. So number 5.
Zeus puts a fart bomb under BT's desk.
Number 4, every time Job polls 3 votes, some idiot will refer to him as brave.
I hope the room boos. I hope they don't break out in applause. That would just be awful. Number 3.
BT says, wow, wait, every time Mrs. Judd is on TV.
Number 2, Mrs. Boomer will complain about the quantity of food. Again. And number 1.
If Cyril wins, he gives Bruce a big sloppy kiss on the lips.
Yeah, but anything else on the Brownlow? Do we have any predictions on that?
You got to say Scablet's going to win it.
Yeah.
So this week on the Bay, I got to say, I trudged through the threads and I thought I didn't really find anything that stood out that much.
There's nothing that really stood out for me, but there was one thing I did find amusing, and that was Bombers 2003 hitting on Suze.
The Flogcast thread had 2 things. Okay, Ugak worked his magic on yourself, Tyler, in that video of his in the Flogcast thread where he put your voice over the teach footage, and then Bombers 2003 made some comment that wasn't prompted at all about pulling Suze's pants down.
I read that and I thought, the fuck are you talking about? Is he like a pedo? What the hell's he doing?
Only Bombers 2003 would hit on fucking Suze.
She did tell us that a few weeks ago that he did, so now we have further confirmation of that.
This is getting too weird. I need to leave this place.
Seriously, I swear, if I make an alias account pretending to be an ugly, fat 80-year-old girl, I swear Bombers 2003 will hit on it anyway.
You're right. You're dead right.
Actually, Tyler, if I ever pointed this out to you, if you look on Lunch Lady Doris's profile, there is a post there from Bombers 2003 saying, criticising him for pretending to be a woman.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, there isn't. I just thought, oh, God. But
is it still up there?
The people that we mix with on this for fuck's sake.
Which I guess is as good a segue as any to Flog of the Week. Who do we have for Flog of the Week?
Oh, that deep fried pussy guy. I mean, what kind of flog just makes an account and cancels it after 22 posts? Whoever that guy's main account is, what a flog.
I would have thrown Bosk under the bus this week because he has been a twitchy bumhole temperamental Hawthorn supporter. He's thrown hand grenades at every Geelong supporter, but I've got to leave him off, I suppose, because he's a good bloke. So we'll let him go. So we'll go with yours, Paddles.
Just and a couple of honourable mentions. One to Kaiser, who's back including the divvy van, and another one to Black Flag, who started a thread having a sulk about having more scoring shots than Sydney.
As I like to call him, Slack Fag. He also had a moan about us in the vlogcast last week, having too much of the sweary words, because he's so experienced in university radio. That's where his, wealth of experience comes from. And he's telling us not to say fuck and shit and all of that. So, oh well.
Yeah, if Chief says it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah. And Slack Fag, so fuck off.
And just on last week's poll, we asked who should coach West Coast, and results were mixed. 13% went with Crazy Vossi, 6% said Ratton can be the cheerleader, 25% said Suze, so, for the third Scott relation to coach him, and 56% said voting for Jack Watts is a democratic right. And let's hope those votes for Jack Watts counted on Monday night.
I reckon he'll get 3 for that game against Footscray.
Taking the inset mark at the end.
Yeah.
Moving on to next week's games, 2 prelims. Look, the epic Hawks first Cats clash. We've discussed it. We've discussed a lot about it, about the aftermath and what may happen, but not so much about the game. Chappie's out, and he's the one who's vowed never to lose to Hawthorn again, and he won't be there. Omen?
Well, look, I think that all of those bumps, like Teddy Richards, Buddy Franklin, Chappie, earlier in the year, Paul Kelly and Steve Johnson, none of those should have been suspensions, but that's the way that it is now. So, they all precedents, so Chappie goes. Regardless of that, I still think that the Hawks are going to have a little bit of a twitchy bumhole going into this, because if they cannot...
Twitchy bumhole.
If they can't put us away early, they will be worried. Having said that, I think that they will put us away early, because I think that they are in prime form and Geelong are just not playing well enough. There's a lot of things that I don't like about the way Geelong are playing at the moment. They're a little bit lazy in the way that they set up their structures when they don't have the footy. And, I just think Hawthorn are a fire. So they've got to be red-hot favourites. But if they get the twitchy bumhole going, who knows?
Yeah, if they're in a position where they could mentally lose it, they probably will. A close game or, something that requires it, they might be in trouble. I think it depends on whether Hawkins is a passenger or not. If he's a passenger, you don't win. If he shows up and he's fit and he can clunk a few, all of a sudden the Cats look dangerous, because Hawthorn get exposed by big forwards.
Well, that's the thing. We need to bring in another forward. I think we need to bring in Walker or Kirsten, who have both played really, really well in the VFL, and we probably need to drop Pods in order to get them in there. In fact, we probably should bring them both in.
It's a big call to drop Pods when you've got a suspect Hawkins and an inexperienced Vardy up there, though.
Yeah, but if we have Kirstens and Walker, they're unknowns. And it's happened before where forwards in form that are playing at the lower level come up to a final and they can win it. We really don't have anything to lose. So we probably should actually do it. We should probably do it.
If you have enough tools to make Gibson accountable, he can't come over the top to defend Lake and Stratton if they find themselves one out. That's how Geelong win, if they can get the matchups up forward and if they can get their spread working, because the Hawks are a bit slow. But if, as you said, their structures are off, Hawthorn's precise kicking game will probably do them in, because I watched them against the Swans in that second half. They took their time and they hit their targets and they moved it really slowly, but they moved it really well.
Yeah, that's what they do well. And so, we need to do something different, because we're on the back foot. I don't think that we can win it. But to give us every chance, that we need to just make some changes and to do something different. So, and on to the game that no one's talking about at all, because all the focus is on Geelong and Hawthorn, and that is the Colas and the Purple Puffs. I think Purple Puffs are going to make their first grand final ever, and comfortably.
I can't see them losing. Even if the Swans were fit, I think they start favourites. But the Swans are missing Tippett, they're missing Mitchell, and a few of their players are underdone. They might rush a few back.
Can't see them losing.
No.
At home on Patterson's, week off, they're going to smash Sydney, and the whole town's going to be painted purple over there, and they're going to come over and they will give whoever they get in the grand final, be it Hawthorn or Geelong, they're going to give them everything.
It's amazing, but this has to be the first ever final where Freo are heavily favoured and not being underestimated or disrespected by everyone else. In fact, they're considered strong favourites. It'd be interesting to see how it affects them, not having that underdog tag on their side.
Actually, even though Fremantle have one less day, I reckon they'll have a big advantage because Geelong and Hawthorn will just be going so hard at each other.
Yeah, that has happened in recent years where the team with the tougher prelim, it's hurt them the next week. Collingwood had to pull that last quarter out to beat Hawthorn 2011, and Hawthorn only just got over the Crows last year, and the next week they got done and they got overrun.
Well, think about this. 07, 08, 09, the team that played the Bulldogs in the preliminary final and just got over them lost the grand final.
That's a good point, because I forgot about the St Kilda Bulldogs games too, because, the Saints had those close ones against the Dogs too. So, it is the tough prelim.
Although, if you're playing a prelim against the Bulldogs, well, it's like basically getting a bye.
Yeah, but everyone who won that game lost the grand final in those 3 years.
Saints struggled to get over the Bulldogs those years, though, because...
Well, it's St Kilda.
It is St Kilda, but still, they did struggle, and it has mattered last few years. Like, no one rated the Crows too highly last year, and they've dropped down the ladder this year. But, geez, they pushed Hawthorn to the very last, to the siren, basically, in that game. They were a chance to win it within the last clearance, last centre bounce. They had about 30 seconds to kick a goal.
So, boys, we haven't been that funny tonight.
No.
There's not been enough fucks and shits and all that sort of stuff. So, there's only 3 of us.
I think the reason we haven't been funny is because the Hawthorn supporters just haven't been here. They've gone and squibbed it.
Yeah, you're right. Hawthorn supporters have squibbed it. We invited so many of them to come on. So much twitchy bumhole going on there, so we haven't been able to hang shit on them. But we may be able to really carve them out come next Monday. But, we're just going to have to see what happens this weekend.
They'll be queuing up next week if Hawthorn win.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be absolutely on. You won't be able to stop them. But, they are nervous. You can see it. There is a distinct fear. There's some good banter between Geelong and Hawthorn usually, but this time the Hawthorn one is just, it's more aggressive. There's just something about it this time.
Oh, they are vicious. They have just been out there pulling as many hairs out of the little kittens as they can. They're scared because if it happens again, they finish top of the ladder. They're favourites for the premiership. And if they lose this weekend, it's all gone up in smoke. So they are really shitting themselves. Whereas Geelong don't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, it all went south when they played Freo.
Yeah, that was it. It's always the first week. It's that first week does it.
Yeah, but there are many, many sides that have come back from losing that first week and just winning the premiership. So if Geelong knock over Hawthorn, I think they'll win the premiership.
It'll be interesting to see a Geelong Fremantle grand final in the MCG just to see how that goes, because the Purple Puffs curse has had you of late.
As a neutral, I think out of the possible matchups, I'd want to see Geelong against Fremantle the most.
I think it would be close. I reckon if Hawthorn get Freo, I reckon this is getting early, but I reckon they smash them. And I reckon if Sydney somehow pull one out, that's their grand final played. They'll get pummeled.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's got to be Fremantle someone.
A big part of me just wants to see Hawthorn lose to Sydney in the grand final again, just for that butt hurt.
Won't happen again. I just can't see it happening again. But
they could lose to Fremantle, though.
Yeah, they could definitely lose to Fremantle. Fremantle winning the flag is just about the only thing, I reckon, that overshadows the Essendon saga from this year, because Geelong or Hawthorn winning another flag is just Geelong or Hawthorn winning another flag. Freo breaking through becomes actually more significant than Essendon disgracing the competition.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
And I do kind of like that in a way, even though I hate Ross Lyon football.
No, you can get fucked because I'm used to success now and I want more.
Although, to be fair to Ross Lyon's footy, Freo are a decent team to watch when they're actually playing another top team.
One that scores.
Yeah, it's just boring to watch when they're playing like shit team.
And so this was the vlogcast for the prelim final week. Fyfie joined by Tyler Durden.
Yes, good night, gentlemen, and very, very disappointed to be deserted by all of the gutless Hawthorn supporters who were invited to join, but fuck you.
Yeah, they offered to send their pets, but we're not having any more animals on after Sue's. And paddles.
Bye.
Yeah, so if you've made it this far, well done, because this has been a weird edition, and thanks for listening.